All right, folks, this is checking a slab. Now, the survey pins are already in. I'll have to do a video separate to that another time. But the first thing that I do, I'm brand new to this community. I've never built here, but I'm just picking it for the topic. I got out the plot plan. I folded it so privacy could be maintained. And I called the man who is in charge of the site development for this place. Asked him, what is your registered or certified minimum setback to the home? He said 20 feet. Item number one. So we don't want this to be too close to the road. Number one, I went to the survey pins. I measured to the road. On the far right side where the garage is, I measured 31 feet. Now, I am not a surveyor, but I know that this future home is going to be beyond the minimum setbacks. That takes legal hassles out of the equation. Another thing I did, download on your iPhone or whatever, an app that simply does hypotenuse or Pythagorean theorem. This is so easy, boys. So right here, if we look at this layout, I have an opportunity for a perfect square from this point to this point to this point to an imaginary point here. So what I did, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So I took, since I do have a survey pin right here and here, I took off the prints, I plug into the calculator 59 feet 1 inches. I then have survey pins here that are supposed to be 39 foot 1 inch, okay? The hypotenuse then is 70 foot 10 and 3/32. So that must be this diagonal here. So let me back up and say it again. This has to be perfectly square. The square is these 3 points. It'll find this point anyway. So what I did was first measure from here to here. And I got 59 foot 1 inches. Good job, slab guy. I measured this pin from here to here. I was 39 foot 1 inches. In a 16th, a 32nd, not bad. Then I know the diagonal, the hypotenuse, needs to be 70 foot 10 3/4. I drove a nail in here and I measured how far off it was from where the concrete will be, which in my case was 1.5 inches. I pulled the tape to this point. I minus the 1.5 inches. And I got to 70 foot 10 inches, and call it 1/32. My tape, my logger's tape, I highly recommend a logger's tape, but that is within tolerance. So what else did I do? So I have a square slab. Well, I don't yet. We haven't poured it. What else did I do? I took, and I recommend buying a chalk box, but don't put any chalk in it, a string line, okay? And I'm hit on this point, and I noticed quickly I came out off the line 1/4 inch. Another thing with a level, I can tell this form board is aimed this way. So there's going to be more concrete lower towards that way than at the top. So I just came and verified. Now, I do not need slab man to come fix this now, because plumber's going to come in here and he's going to step the hell all over here. These form boards are going to get into worse condition through slab prep. And here's my chalk box at the back with nothing in it. There's the pin, right? I driv it right where the survey pin is. So I can visually see at slab prep, and I make my notes, this is off and wrong. Another thing to make note of, I highly recommend this Bosch Blaze 400 foot. It's $250. So if you want to be driving around in a $45,000 truck with no tools, Or be me, drive a $17,000 piece of crap, got a lot of tools. So say for instance, I make my notes now, I know that this and that side, these forms are not perfectly square, but it doesn't need to be now. I just know that they're not now. So now I know, say plumber comes in, he's gonna step all over these form boards, in and out, in and out. Here comes slab prep, they're gonna dig their footers, they're gonna recheck these form boards. That's why I'm not freaking out now. But now, the evening before under slab inspection, I know the distance this is supposed to be. And it's best to do this late at night. And it's not working. I can't see it. I cannot see the laser. But this will verify 39 foot 1 inches. There, I finally hit it. That is what it's supposed to be from here to there. I would go every 8 feet then, the night before your inspection. Every 8 feet and verify, so that way you know your slab, it won't be walking like this, or you can verify it with a string line. But these critical dimensions, if you have a recessed shower pan over there, that's going to affect whether you need to add concrete or chip concrete. So let me try to back this up and recap. These are very simple concepts. And once the superintendent masters these very simple things, you will become weaponized, and you will be like Wayne Gretzky, where he says, I don't skate where the puck is going to be, or the puck is, I skate where it's going to be. So please listen to me. First, understand the master site plan. Get with your guy in land or development to understand what is the minimum setback for this community. You must know that. The building cannot be further forward than that. That's the way you can check the surveyor. They are still human. They rarely make mistakes, but when they do, it's usually very expensive. Real quick thing, measure the closest part of your building to the back of the Miami curb. In this case, minimum is 20 feet. We're at 31. Now, granted, I didn't need to measure that. You can eyeball it, but don't trust your eyes too much. The second thing is, how are my forms looking? I know my forms are sloppy right now, but that's not critical at this point. Number 2, Pythagorean theorem, or the hypotenuse, where using my blueprints, should the perfect square happen? I shouldn't say perfect square. The perfect box be. So I look at the prints. What's the longest wall I have that joins the longest left and right wall? And I can measure the distances between here and here. I say, okay, survey pins are on point and the form boards are on point. And from that point to that point, everything's in agreement. The surveyor pins and the form boards. Good work, guys. Then I plug in the simple digits in my dummy phone app, and I know that I'm supposed to be from that point to here a certain measurement. Then get yourself 100-foot logger's tape. Take your 25-foot tape measure, leave it at home. It's not needed out here. Pull that tape measure to here. Ask your manager what is an acceptable level of the hypotenuse. For me, anything over a 1/2 inch, I want to talk to my slab guy. But now, at this point, I have notes here. My survey pins are good. My hypotenuse is good. I have wavy and not plumb form boards. So now I know when the plumber's going to come, he's going to do right this over the form board, just like I'm doing right now. He's going to do that 100 times. So these form boards are going to get worse. So that way I have notes when my slab guy comes to do prep. I said, all right, guys, let's start pulling in numbers. Check the hypotenuse again. Boom to boom. Then, with your well-earned laser, early morning, late night, shoot left and right to make sure the form boards didn't go like this during everyone stepping on them and coming on and off. You do these simple things, and your frame will fit on this geometry. And you will have confidence, and you will sleep at night when the frame crew comes.